Good evening. Here we are on the VoiceWorks Facebook page again. We are here this evening to speak Flash Briefing Friday, and we're going to be speaking all about branding your flash briefing and the importance of it and what you can do. So this evening, here I am. My name is Suze Cooper. I'm a broadcast journalist and I'm a flash briefing creator. I have 2 flash briefings, and I'm here tonight with Peter Stewart.
Suze, thank you. Nice to see you again. Suze and I last met up on Tuesday where we were presenting at Amazon HQ in their London town, and to a packed audience, telling people all about skills and about the latest platform developments and about sonic branding. And of course, flash briefings came into it as well. I'm Peter Stewart. I've got 30 years experience in radio and TV presentation, production, training and writing, all sorts of different things. But as Sue says, on a Friday we get together and we talk about flash briefings on our Facebook page. And today we decided that we would talk not so much about the flash briefings themselves and about the presentation and production, and not even indeed about the sonic logos or anything like that, which we talked about on Tuesday. But today we are talking about your logo, design. Yeah. So your logo, your branding, your visual identity, because Suze, that's really important as well, isn't it? Kind of goes hand in glove, if you like, with your kind of audio logo, what you sound like and what you look like too.
That's right. So kind of the idea behind your sort of visual logo, as with anything, is to give someone who is looking around and browsing an idea of what it is they're going to get when they listen to your flash briefing. So you really want to have something that's really quite unique to you, that perhaps tells them a little bit about your sound, a little bit about what you're going to give them. And it's quite difficult to do, actually, Peter, isn't it? Because you've only got a very small space in which to put this information, this visual information. You know, Amazon give you the required kind of ratio for your graphic, and then what they actually do is condense that down into a teeny tiny little circle to fit into their logo. You've got a lot of information you've got to load in there, and it is quite a small space.
Absolutely. You've got to reflect your topic, your theme, your whole ethos of the show, perhaps have a thumbnail of your logo, maybe that you use in other places, and also maybe a few words as well. Plus, it's got to be eye-catching. It can't be too cluttered. Got to perhaps use the same kind of color scheme, not over fancy fonts or anything like that. So it's all, as Sue says, on the phone, it's about the size of your thumbnail. So you've got to be careful. I was going to say you've got to cram everything in. No. You mustn't cram a whole load in. You've got to be clear. You've got to be specific. It's got to be eye-catching. So you've really, really got to think about it. And it's important, obviously, for you to carry over your branding from elsewhere onto that, because then that's going to aid discoverability. And I know, Suze, discoverability is something that you're very keen on and very aware of with your background in communications and branding and marketing and that kind of thing. For people to be taking over, moving over their font, their design, their colors, all sorts of things like that.
Absolutely. I think colour is essential when you're talking about something that is so tiny. You know, it's the equivalent in web design of kind of the favicon, which is the tiny little icon that appears at the top of your tabs. When you've got that person's website open, you can see that tiny little kind of idea of who they are. You know, a really good one of those is it's colour that really kind of hits you first. It needs not any kind of words or font or anything particularly, but it just needs to give you a sense of who they are and be really recognisable. And to be recognizable, as you say, Peter, you need to make sure it's on all of your material. You know, put it on the footer of your email signature, include it in there, put it on any of the traditional kind of marketing stuff that you've got. If that's paper stuff, great, leaflets, business cards, all that kind of thing. Use all the different channels that you've got. You know, we don't need to be paying out big amounts for full page adverts in glossy magazines. We can leverage those kind of organic channels that we've already got to us. It's just about being a bit canny, and actually, if we've got something that pulls together the colors of our business that we're already using, as you say, perhaps, you know, if someone's already used to seeing a header or a footer from us on our documentation that's got certain branded colors and uses a certain font, then absolutely try and integrate that into what you're doing when you're creating your logo for your flash briefing.
Well, let's talk about a couple of places that you can go for your logo. I mean, you could actually go out and you could find a designer, maybe down the high street or elsewhere online. Of course, you can use anywhere around the world nowadays, which is absolutely fantastic, and either pay big bucks, or you could try your hand at something like Fiverr. Now, I've tried them a few times in the past, and let's be totally honest, what starts off as a Fiverr doesn't actually end up on as a Fiverr, but it is still going to be probably much cheaper. I had a very bad experience, in as much as I thought something was going to be a Fiverr, but realized in the end that I was going to have to pay 30 or 40 pounds, dollars, euros. And then it turned out that actually the design that I was sent was nothing like their portfolio online. So do perhaps ask around, see the designers that other people have used, do check out the reviews and the ratings and so on. But do be prepared, as I was, to actually go back to them and say, sorry, this isn't up to scratch. And in fact, I did get my money back eventually, but that should be much cheaper. Of course, even cheaper, of course, is to get it done absolutely free. And fortunately, Suze, Amazon have actually got an inbuilt icon designer actually in the Amazon developer account, haven't they, that you can use, certainly for the picture, if not for the text.
Yeah, I mean, you know, draw on any of those kind of things that are available to you. And Amazon do offer an awful lot of support in putting, you know, stuff together for us. You know, skills wise, we've got blueprints, flash briefings. They've put an awful lot together there for us to draw on and to use within the devs kind of platform. What I would say is that, you know, personally for mine, I've created them using free software online, using Canva, and I've used Figma as well, which is kind of a bit more like Photoshop, but you don't have to have the Photoshop brain that you need to actually get your head around graphics and all kinds of things like that with Photoshop. But certainly Canva is a very, very easy in route. You've got lots of different picture websites where it's available, you know, to you to kind of download images, copyright free. You've got Unsplash, all sorts of different ones that are out there that you can then provide you a graphic with, and then upload to Canva. You can choose your font, you can choose your background colors, all that kind of thing, and you can play with it yourself. And actually what we're saying is that simple is beautiful in this case. So you don't have to be the best graphic designer, and in fact, you know, maybe you are the best person to design the image that reflects what you're trying to be within your flash briefing. So I really wouldn't write yourself off, even if you don't feel like you're a visual creative. I'd give it a go in Canva, because it's not going to cost you anything. And you, even if you kind of put your ideas out there and then decide to go somewhere like Fiverr or pay somebody down the high street, you've already got a bit of an idea to kind of show them, to pass on, this is what I was thinking it might be like, to kind of guide someone else along your route, if you like. So yeah, definitely draw on anything that Amazon have got available to you, but perhaps check out those other kind of various ideas as well.
Absolutely. And PicMonkey is another one. And I think Suze is absolutely right. Have a little look round. And when you're having a look round, don't forget to have a look and see what other people are doing in your category or other categories in Amazon and in the Alexa skills and the flash briefing rundown and lineup, because then you'll be able to automatically just have a scroll and see which ones are kind of thumb stopping images, because some of those that you look at, you're going to be going, okay, now I'm looking with another pair of eyes. Now I'm looking through my designer eyes. I can see that actually that's quite distinctive. That has reached out and grabbed me. This one, I've no idea what that one is about, for example, or maybe there are some particularly within your category, maybe your competitors, and you can perhaps take the best bits from all of your competitors' logos. I'm not saying copy, but you may think to yourself, okay, so I'm doing something about education and teaching. What have people got? Okay, so they've got this one, perhaps there's a logo based around a kind of blackboard and chalk design because it's about teaching or something. That's quite nice. So therefore, I can't choose that. I can't go the same way, but maybe I can think of something else that is synonymous with a classroom. So maybe think along those kinds of lines, but do be careful because you don't want to infringe anyone else's copyright, obviously, either intentionally or subconsciously. One more thing I would add, Suze, before perhaps you want to do a quick roundup, is that it's really easy to go into something like PicMonkey or Canva and you see their templates and you have a play around and you're able to alter the actual text and the font and the colors and the picture, and then after half an hour you look at it and go, that looks a bit rubbish now, but I'm not entirely sure why. It's because so few of us have actually got that art, that design background. So don't stray too far, perhaps, from the template that you've got without thinking really carefully about why you're doing it, or have a complete play around in the sandpit that are some of these online services. But think carefully what you're doing and be able to unpick it or to work your way back to a previous design. Don't stray too far from the actual initial design that you were given as far as a template or a blueprint goes. Okay, we'll sum up now then, and then we'll sign off for another week of VoiceWorks here. So, Suze, what have we learned?
Well, tonight we've been thinking all about kind of branding in a visual way, the branding for our flash briefing. We've been speaking about the little icon that you're going to need to create when you upload your flash briefing and hand it over to Amazon for certification. One of the things they'll ask you for is an icon, is a logo, which you are going to need to either create yourself or perhaps ask someone to create for you. So we've been speaking about thinking about how tiny that logo is going to appear on somebody's phone, how simple is probably more beautiful, simple and straightforward, but also to draw on things that you've already got. So whether that's your branding, your logo for your business or your organization that is already there, perhaps draw on the colors that you're using from that, perhaps take an element of that and kind of repurpose it for this particular icon. It is round and it's tiny, so you do need to kind of think about those elements of it. We spoke a little bit about how you can use the templated stuff over in Amazon that they provide for you, but also how you could perhaps have a go yourself in Canva, or even employ someone over on Fiverr or down the high street to create a logo for you that is just perfect to show off your flash briefing. So I've been Suze Cooper, and thank you very much for joining us on the VoiceWorks page this evening on Facebook for Flash Briefing Friday. He's been Peter Stewart, and we'll see you again next week for some more lives and some more updates about what's going on in the world of voice technology.